Cowboys fans, buckle up. We've got breaking news that's shaking up Dallas. Micah Parsons is making waves. Dak's contract talks have taken a surprising turn, and a rookie draft pick might be in hot water. Stay tuned for the inside scoop that's got everyone talking. This is Cowboys news you can't afford to miss. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. First up, we're talking about the heart and soul of our defense, Micah Parsons. Then, we'll break down the latest on Dak Prescott's contract situation. And finally, we'll discuss why rookie tight end Luke Schoonmaker might not be the roster lock we all thought he was. Let's go. All right, folks. Let's start with the man, the myth, the legend, Micah Parsons. ESPN recently put out an article ranking the top 10 linebackers in the NFL, and guess who's sitting pretty at number 1? That's right, our very own Micah Parsons. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't Parsons more of an edge rusher? Well, that's the beauty of Micah. He's a Swiss Army knife on defense. The ESPN article specifically mentions his versatility as a key factor in their ranking. They noted that while Parsons did line up as an edge rusher on 85% of his snaps last season, his ability to drop back into coverage and play traditional linebacker roles sets him apart from the competition. Let's break down some numbers here. In just 2 seasons, Parsons has racked up an impressive 26.5 sacks, 149 tackles, and 6 forced fumbles. Those are the kind of stats that make offensive coordinators lose sleep at night. But it's not just about the numbers. ESPN's panel of experts, which included coaches, scouts, and executives from around the league, praised Parsons for his impact on the game. One anonymous NFC executive was quoted saying, "He's a game wrecker. You have to account for him on every single play, and even then, he still finds a way to disrupt." Now, here's where things get interesting. The article hints at the possibility of Parsons being used even more creatively in the upcoming season. With new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn at the helm, we might see Parsons lining up all over the field, keeping offenses guessing and creating mismatches. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. While the praise from ESPN is certainly well-deserved, it also puts a target on Parsons' back. You can bet that every team we face this season will have a specific game plan to try and neutralize him. The question is, can they? One area where Parsons has shown room for improvement is in pass coverage. While he's certainly capable, his coverage skills haven't been tested as much due to his primary role as a pass rusher. If he can elevate this aspect of his game, he'll truly be the complete package. There's also the question of sustainability. Parsons has been a force of nature in his first 2 seasons, but can he maintain this level of play over the long haul? The physical toll of constantly battling offensive linemen and chasing down quarterbacks is no joke. That being said, Parsons has shown a remarkable work ethic and drive to improve. In multiple interviews, he's expressed his desire to not just be great, but to be one of the best to ever play the game. With that kind of motivation, it's hard to bet against him. So, what does this mean for the Cowboys' defense as a whole? Well, having a player of Parsons' caliber allows for a lot of flexibility in scheming. His presence alone can mask weaknesses in other areas of the defense and create opportunities for his teammates. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, all eyes will be on Parsons to see if he can live up to the hype and continue his ascent as one of the NFL's premier defensive players. If he can, the Cowboys' defense could be in for a dominant year. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the man under center, Dak Prescott. There's been a lot of chatter lately about Dak's contract situation, and it seems like we might be heading towards a shorter deal than many expected. For those who need a quick refresher, Dak is currently playing on a 4-year, $160 million contract that he signed in 2021. The deal is set to expire after the 2024 season, and with the way quarterback contracts have been inflating, you'd think the Cowboys would be eager to lock him up long-term. However, recent reports suggest that both the Cowboys and Dak's camp might be leaning towards a shorter extension. Now, why would that be the case? Let's break it down. First, from the Cowboys' perspective, a shorter deal gives them more flexibility. Dak has been a good quarterback for the team, but he hasn't quite reached that elite Super Bowl winning level yet. A shorter contract allows the team to reassess in a couple of years without being tied down to a massive long-term commitment. On Dak's side, a shorter deal could actually be beneficial too. The NFL salary cap is expected to continue rising, especially with new TV deals kicking in. By signing a shorter contract now, Dak could potentially hit the market again in his prime and cash in on an even bigger payday. But here's where things get interesting. Some insiders are speculating that this shorter deal might include a no-tag clause. For those unfamiliar, the franchise tag allows teams to retain a player for 1 year at a high salary, preventing them from hitting free agency. If Dak secures a no-tag clause, it would give him significant leverage in future negotiations. Now, let's talk numbers. While nothing is set in stone, rumors suggest we might be looking at a 2- or 3-year extension. In terms of annual value, don't be surprised if we're talking about something in the $45–50 million per year range. That might sound astronomical, but in the current quarterback market, it's actually pretty reasonable. Of course, any new deal for Dak is going to have ripple effects across the roster. The Cowboys have some big decisions coming up with other key players, like CeeDee Lamb, and Trayvon Diggs also due for extension soon. How they structured Dak's deal could have a significant impact on their ability to retain other talent. There's also the question of performance. Dak had a solid season last year, throwing for over 4,400 yards and 23 touchdowns. But he also led the league in interceptions with 15, which is a concern. Any new deal, even a shorter one, is going to come with high expectations for improved play and postseason success. Speaking of postseason success, that's the elephant in the room when it comes to Dak's contract talks. For all his regular season accomplishments, Dak has yet to lead the Cowboys past the divisional round of the playoffs. Fair or not, quarterbacks are often judged by their playoff performances, and this is an area where Dak needs to step up. A shorter deal could actually work in everyone's favor here. It gives Dak a chance to prove he can take the team to the next level while also providing the Cowboys with an out if things don't work out as planned. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, all eyes will be on Dak to see if he can elevate his game and justify whatever new deal he ends up signing. The pressure is on, but if there's one thing we know about Dak, it's that he thrives under pressure. All right, Cowboys fans, let's wrap things up by talking about a bit of a surprise rookie tight end. Luke Schoonmaker might not be the roster lock we all thought he was. When the Cowboys selected Schoonmaker in the second round of this year's draft, many of us assumed he was a shoo-in for the 53-man roster. After all, you don't typically use a second-round pick on a player you're not planning to keep around. But recent reports from training camp have raised some eyebrows. Let's start with the positives. Schoonmaker came into the NFL with a reputation as a solid blocker, with good hands and route running ability. At 6'5" and 251 pounds, he has the size to be an effective inline tight end, something the Cowboys have been missing since Jason Witten's departure. However, the transition from college to the NFL is never easy, and it seems Schoonmaker is finding that out the hard way. Reports from OTAs and early training camp sessions suggest that he's struggling to adapt to the speed and complexity of the pro game. One area where Schoonmaker has reportedly struggled is in pass protection. In today's NFL tight ends need to be able to stay in and block on passing downs, especially against elite edge rushers. If Schoonmaker can't be trusted in this area, it severely limits his usefulness in the offense. There's also the question of his role in the passing game. While Schoonmaker showed promise as a receiver in college, he hasn't been making the kind of splash plays in practice that you'd hope to see from a second-round pick. With the Cowboys' offense already featuring weapons like CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Tony Pollard, Schoonmaker needs to prove he can be a reliable target for Dak Prescott. And there you have it, Cowboys Nation. We've covered a lot of ground today, from Micah Parsons' rise to the top of the linebacker rankings to Dak Prescott's potential short-term deal, and the surprising situation with Luke Schoonmaker. As always, the NFL landscape is constantly shifting, and we'll be here to keep you updated on all the latest Cowboys news and rumors. What do you think about these developments? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Cowboys content.